Right, well, welcome back to another section. So I'm going to take us through another course CRS course. So these courses are very interesting and they actually open our understanding to the understanding of the Old Testament, So this one is what is titled the Pentateuch with emphasis on Genesis. The Pentateuch with emphasis on Genesis. So this is what this course is all about. We are going to deal with talking about or getting to know about the Pentateuch book. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. There are the 5 books, Pentateuch with emphasis on Genesis. So let's quickly see the general introduction to its Pentateuch. So now, the first thing we are going to understand, or what I'm going to talk about, is the meaning of Pentateuch. So when we talk about Pentateuch simply means the 5 books, first 5 books of the Old Testament. First books of the Old Testament. Or let's call it 5 books. From the word penta, 5 books, or 5 scrolls. That's the meaning of Pentateuch. 5 scrolls, or the law. Call it the law. So in Hebrew language, we call these, and this is which law? The Hebrew law. And Hebrew language is called Torah. It's called Torah. So the 5 books. These 5 books are considered to be the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So those are the 5 books called the Pentateuch. And these 5 books are believed to have been written by Moses, which we are still going to overview. We are still going to check. Is it true that it was Moses who wrote the whole Pentateuch? We are going to get to know if it is actually reliable that way. So, and though among scholars they argued on the fact that the book of Joshua too should be added to the Pentateuch, so they came up with what we call Exateuch. Because why? If you look at the Pentateuch, it's just like the Pentateuch gives us the history, the narration of the history of the Israelites itself. You understand? The historical narrative of the Israelites. Just full of history. The beginning of the Israelites. So this same Israelite, this subject of discussion, the subject of narration. So if you look very closely into the book of Joshua, you can say that the book of Joshua actually gives us the conclusion of these things. It is the book of Joshua that tells us how the Israelites settled, how they were able to settle after their years of wanderings, after the death of Moses in chapter 34 of Deuteronomy, how they were able to settle down. So on the part of the scholars, some scholars said that the book of Joshua is a necessary conclusion of the historical narratives found in the other 5 books. Therefore, this book should be added to the Pentateuch. Then we call it Exateuch. Anyways, we are not dealing with Exateuch, we are dealing with Pentateuch. That is that about Pentateuch. So when we talk about Pentateuch simply means 5 scrolls. It means 5 scrolls. It means the Hebrew law, which is Torah, and it also means the first 5 books of Old Testament. The first 5 books of Old Testament. So in the next video, I will talk about the themes of the Pentateuch. What are the themes of the Pentateuch? The general themes of the Pentateuch. Thank you.